And we're back. This is now season 2 of Inside the Ring, and it has been a day preparing for this show. My only hope, my only goal is to live up to that video intro that you just saw. That set the bar at a certain point. But otherwise, I'm trying a whole bunch of new stuff. If you saw last season, I did 12 episodes of this show, and it's all about digging into the history of the Linking Ring magazine, finding interesting ideas, interesting people, and sharing them with you. So that's what we're here about. Tonight is, as I said, it's a bit of an experiment, and I'm glad you're here with me. And of course, one of our regular fans here, Charles, is here from Cincinnati, Ohio. If you are listening live, you can type in the chat and it comes up on my screen. We can interact that way, whether you're on Facebook on the IBM page, whether you're on YouTube. Please let me know you're listening, where you're listening from. And if you have any questions or comments throughout the show, this is live. We're here. We're doing this. So I appreciate your input and insight on everything going on tonight. Now, last year, the show was fairly structured. It had segments, it had bits, it had guest interviews. Basically, for tonight, I've thrown all that out the window. Tonight is going to be a pretty random collection of just cool, interesting ideas I've found. That was my favorite part of the show. So I thought, well, let's just double down or triple down on that. And so tonight, Elliot is here from the land of elk and honey. That sounds like half of Canada as well. So welcome, Elliot. And Steve says, looks like they're having a delay. I don't know. Maybe you wrote that 10 minutes ago. I have no idea. But we are here live, hopefully live. As I said, it's a new system tonight. So who knows if it's working or not. We're all finding out together. So tonight, I even have some in-studio guests. And speaking of trying things new, I accidentally sent them the wrong link. In order to join the show tonight. And I didn't realize that until I started the show and they got kicked out. So some of them are back. And we have Drew and Donna here, which we don't quite fit on the screen. There we go.
Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Drew. Hello, Donna. So I invited you here and a couple other people. Hopefully they make the little, sorry for the last minute shuffle there. But you're just here to hang out, and because I need people to pick cards occasionally. And,
we can do that.
It's like the vibe I'm going for tonight is like a ring meeting. We're getting together to share some ideas. Just so happens I've brought pretty much all the ideas. So you can relax. You can relax.
Thank gosh.
But I appreciate you being here, and hopefully our other friends will make it in here tonight as well. So let's get started. With an idea. This is from the pages of the Linking Ring, and I'm starting with this one because this one has the potential to go most off the rails. This has the potential to have the most spectacular fail of them all. So we'll try this out. The things I'm doing here tonight are, I haven't done them. As I said, I've been kind of worked on this stuff all day, and I didn't really get a chance to rehearse. So here we go. Whoops. I have 2 pictures of old-timey ladies. Now, in the old time, being a lady was a challenge, as it is today. And particularly in a certain time of history, there were people who were, well, they were real prickers. They were prickers, and you had to watch out for them. They were witch finder generals in the United Kingdom. This was a position decreed by the king, and their job was to find and seek out witches. Now, how would you determine who's a witch, who's not a witch? Well, it's kind of arbitrary. You see, that was part of the whole witch challenge, is because a woman might be accused of witchcraft for doing things like not having a husband or refusing the favors of a certain wealthy individual. They might feel so personally offended that they would then accuse this person of witchcraft. So we're going to try a little experiment inspired by something in the pages of the Linking Ring. I'm actually doing something kind of very different with it. But we'll try this. Let's see. Let's bring back Drew and Donna for a moment here. Drew, I'll let you play the role of the pricker. Okay. So I have the young lady and the old lady here, and I just want you to make an accusation of one or the other.
That young lady blinked twice at me, and I don't trust her. She is the witch.
She's flirting.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that sounds very witchcrafty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll try this. Now, of course, we can't just rely on accusations. There were tests that they devised for this whole thing. And as I said, one of the Witchfinder General's roles was to prick potential witches. And the idea is that if you were pricked, well, then most people would bleed, but witches would not. And it's kind of this weird negative feedback thing. Like they also had a thing where they would drown you, and if you died, you were not a witch. So it's, it wasn't a great system. And especially this time of year, you go to the Halloween store. You ever seen those fake little knives, the daggers? The blade goes into the handle, right? Well, this same thing was in use by these witch finders. They would have tricky needles and tricky daggers in order to prick people and not draw blood. These people were very suspicious. Now, we have pricked 2 people, and we'll see if this comes out true, because the... I can't even open it up. I crumpled it too tight. Uh-oh. The old lady has been pricked and seems to have survived. Meanwhile, the young woman
Ooh.
Oh. There we go. As I said, these performances tonight are kind of rough drafts. So take what you get. Take what you like and leave the rest. But the reason this spoke to me, it spoke to me enough to at least give it a shot, is because it's a very interesting use of a hat pin that I have never seen before. And it's using it not for the effect, but for the I don't want to get into too many details, because this isn't meant to be a exposure ridden show here tonight. But I found that interesting, that it was a unique use for the hat pin. So now in the original, and you know what, I forgot to actually prepare the reference for this, but in the original, it was very much a bizarre kind of story. And so with a lot of bizarre magic, it's not really a magic trick, it's kind of just a interesting event or happening. And so that's what happened, was that there wasn't 2. I was just kind of, I don't know, I was just making up as I went along. But in the original, one would be rolled up and stabbed and buried, and it would be wrapped in clay. And then you'd unearth the person, and they will be covered in blood. So it was just kind of an interesting happening. But I thought that was an interesting thing to find another use for the old props in your cupboard. So let's carry on because we've got a lot more to cover here tonight. I do have a draw. There is a draw, and let me get this going here. I'm going to give away a prize. Now, this is just me giving away a prize. It is not the IBM. It is just me personally. And if you go to this link tonight, it's only tonight during the show. If you go to insidethering.show/draw, this is a little perk for watching live. I see some people were having challenges with the live, so hopefully hopefully people are able to watch live tonight. But if so, go to insidethering.show/draw, and you know what, I'm just going to call it, because this is my draw, I make the rules. Because people are having challenges with the technical, I'm going to let this run until tomorrow. So if you watch the replay, you can also enter the draw. I'll pick the winner tomorrow instead of at the end of the live show. Sound like a deal? That way it's fair for everybody across time zones. I'm going to be giving away a prize, and I'll talk about what that prize is later on. Let's see. I just want to check in the chat. Yeah, it looks like it's not working on the Facebook, unfortunately. Interesting. Having some technical challenges here tonight with Facebook. Curious. Well, I'm not sure what I can do about that at the moment, so I'm just going to push on, and we'll get the recording, if nothing else. So, if you're watching on YouTube, I think you could hear me. So, whoop whoop to the people watching on YouTube. All right. This is going back to issue number 3 of the Linking Ring. I don't know if you're aware of this. We've been publishing the Linking... I haven't been involved. They have been publishing the Linking Ring magazine now for 100 years, and I did the math. It's like 1,147 issues, and I wanted to show you the first ever routine that was published in the Linking Ring. Last season, I did the first ever trick. This is actually before that. This is the first ever routine, and it is patter for the Phantom Tube. So I will present to you patter for the Phantom Tube. Guess I need 2 of those. Ladies and gentlemen, in my next effect, I shall attempt to convince you that I am a worm. I mean, I can manufacture silk like one. So in order to spin a silk, of course, it needs a cocoon, and this little tube will serve the purpose of that. Now, a cocoon must be sealed in darkness, so we will do that. I'm not a regular Phantom Tube worker, so there we go. So I shall proceed to make this airtight as well, and now we can see straight through the cocoon. It is tight and sealed. Now, I wave my wand. I don't have a wand. I have a pen. I will wave my wand in order to spin the silk, just as the worm would, and ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, I have now fully convinced you that I am a worm, and I made this tube so long. We could have done that for a few hours more, but that is the patter, more or less word for word, from the third edition of the Linking Ring in 1923. 1923. That was that one. Now, things haven't changed so much in the last 100 years because the very next issue had a little comment. A suggestion from Wilfred L. Miller. He wrote in, anyone who is using or intends to use the patter for the Phantom Tube that was shared on page 5 of the Linking Ring, number 3, will do well to say silkworm instead of worm. To admit one is a worm is admitting an awful lot and does not sound well, but silkworm sounds all right and will not offend the most delicate ear. Will give the tube a better effect and a better atmosphere. So try it, and if you have not already done so, I am sure that you will agree with me that it is better. So I found that quite entertaining to know that 100 years later, we still have our magic clubs where everyone thinks they can do it better. Magicians haven't changed that much. It's good. It's comforting. It's comforting to know. Now, I was curious about digging into the archives. Now, I don't know if you're aware how you can search the archives of the Linking Ring. And because I knew I was going to do this item from 1923, what else could we do with a Phantom Tube? And I was researching in there, and I found a couple interesting ideas. Give me just 1 second here, just to set this up. And yeah. Whoops. I made this giant Phantom Tube today, and it wasn't until after I made it I realized it's way too big for pretty much everything I'm doing. Okay, so this is an idea from Eugene Gloye, who wrote a ton of articles in the Linking Ring, and particularly about classic magic. And so this was an idea he had to use the Phantom Tube in an unconventional way, different than we might usually associate with the Phantom Tube. So you can take a silk and tuck it into the tube. And if I had a handful of confetti, that would be perfect to give a little, because confetti makes everything better, right? Give a little throw of confetti, and then you'd be able to snap your fingers and reach into the tube and pull out that silk. Now, spotted. So the idea of using a Phantom Tube, not as a production item, but as kind of a dye tube situation where it ends quite cleanly. So that's another application for the Phantom Tube. And I think now I'm back on schedule that I have my, do I? Oh my goodness. This is turning into a bit of a mess here at the very last minute, but regardless, in the notes, I will be sure to include all the references and page numbers for all this stuff in the show notes. There's a couple more ideas for a Phantom Tube that I found interesting. One was using a stage-size Phantom Tube, which is a little closer to what we have here, and it's on a little pedestal, and you would produce yards and yards and yards of silk out of this huge tube, and then at the very end, you would take the table away, walk forward with this big tube, have a huge fish bowl or something, and be able to pour water out of the Phantom Tube, which I thought was an interesting idea of being able to, without saying too much, put a second load into the tube. And the one I just saw today while I was preparing was another interesting idea with a Phantom Tube that was just so weird. It's interesting. You would produce all the silks as normal, and then you would set the tube on the table, snap your fingers, and lift up the tube, and you have produced a very steep volcano. So you lift up the tube and you've produced a very steep volcano, and I hope that makes sense to people watching. and then you would light the top, and it would have like green flash powder in it, is what he suggested. But that's like an interesting way to use what you got for maximum effect. So, so I see a couple more of our friends are joining us here. I'll bring you guys back just to check in with the gallery here. Hey Larry, I'm glad you made it. I apologize for the last minute shuffle there. My fault.
That's all right. Drew can catch me up on anything I've missed.
Oh well.
Oh well, sit back, Larry. So Ryan, let me take over for no.
Well, in technical news, it appears that the Facebook broadcast isn't working, so our live audience is a little hindered. So it's a good thing you guys are here in the studio. Lucky front row seats. But yeah, I know, like Larry, I know you do a lot of magic teaching at the French Woods Summer Camp for Performing Arts, and and I'm sure I know you have this room full of magic props, and I know you're always looking for these new ideas and applications for these classic props. So I don't know if you want to do the volcano trick next year.
I think the camp administration would love having the kids do that. Yes.
Yeah, get some flash powder and gotta learn somehow. But all right. And while I have you here, let's try something where I need your help. Actually, of you three, does anyone consider themselves to be particularly lucky?
Would have to be Donna.
No, let's be real here. It's me.
It's Drew. That's right. You're right. Drew has Donna. Donna is unlucky.
Right.
Gotcha.
If he went the unluckiest person, then I would have to. But
she's just sticking it out. Gotcha.
All right. Well, Drew, I'll set you back in the green room, Larry, and we'll work with Drew on this one. So, Drew, I am going to curse you.
You're not the first.
Get in line, but go ahead.
No, I'm going to curse you. We're going to take a trip to a pub that has made a number of appearances in the Linking Ring. It's the devil of a bar and pub, and this pub has been the source of many tales over the years of the Linking Ring. People walk into this pub and they do the strangest things, and they get documented. So I wanted to show you one that was performed in the devil of a bar and pub a while ago. And because it's Halloween, we'll do this Halloween themed here. If I have a marker, there we go. So I don't know, Drew and Donna, what's a good Halloween icon, like a pumpkin or a ghost, or what would you like to use?
I would definitely have to say a ghost.
A ghost. Okay, so I'm going to draw. I'll do Pac-Man style ghosts, just because they're quick and easy. I'm going to draw two of those, and what's another one?
A witch.
A witch. I'll just draw the witch's hat, just to move it along. One witch hat and two witch hats, and one more.
I would have to say a black cat.
A black cat. All right.
And then the jack-o'-lantern, that was so much easier to draw.
It's a circle. I thought he was going to spell cat at this point.
My black cat is kind of just like a double witch hat, but I'll add whiskers. Indistinguishable from a normal black cat. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, Drew, we're going to play a very simple game, but you'll find that it's actually surprisingly difficult. Why? Because you are cursed. Yeah. So we'll mix these up, and you just tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Stop. Okay. I'll deal one from the top if you want me to be fair, or I'll deal one from the bottom if you want me to be sneaky. So you just tell me top or bottom.
Top.
Top. All right, and we're going to get you 3. We'll give you 3 chances here. So top or bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom. And one more.
Again from the bottom.
From the bottom. Now, the object of the game is simple. We have 6 cards, 3 pairs. You get half the cards. And all you have to do to win is get a pair.
Easy.
It seems pretty easy. So let's see how you did. You got a ghost, a cat. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out that time for you, Drew. But
All right.
it's okay. It's okay. We'll try this.
I feel like I'm chasing cherries and lemons in Atlantic City. Let's go. One more quarter in here.
Yeah, basically. You might think because we're doing this virtually, you don't know what I'm doing with the cards. So I'm going to let you shuffle the cards here, or you take your pick. So it'll all be on the table, and you don't know if I'm doing bottom deal or second deals or whatever. So just tell me one from pile A or one from pile B.
One from pile B.
One from pile B.
Okay.
One from pile A.
You're being instructed. A.
I'll go back to one for B.
One from B. So again, if you just get any 2 that match, you've won. Let's see. We've got a hat, a cat.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, that curse seems to be holding out on us here. So, well, that's okay, Drew. We'll try this one more time.
All right, here we go. No whammies, no whammies. Let's go.
And in fact, I'll even let you shuffle the cards instead of me shuffling the cards. We'll give them a shuffle first, so you can completely control. We'll just recombine them into one pile, but you just tell me A or B.
Okay. A.
A. Next.
A.
A. Hang on. Let me just keep that in frame.
Okay. B.
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 A.
A.
B.
B. Great. So you've shuffled the cards. I'm not going to change what you've shuffled. All you do is get to pick one of the 2 piles. That'll be your pile.
A.
You pick pile A. If there is a single matched card in pile A, you win. Are you feeling lucky? I'm going to be even more fair. I'll let you pick a second pile.
Ooh, we get both piles?
You get both piles. If there's a single match in either pile, you win the day.
You doubled your chances of getting lucky.
I've doubled the odds. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
We have a hat, a cat, and a ghost.
Oh, wait a minute.
Unfortunately, your curse seems to ring true.
Hmm.
You got
Now,
me.
that is the idea as it stands in the linking ring. But I wanted to try this one additional idea that I was working out. So this is a world premiere idea. Let me just switch to there so we can see nice and clear. So Drew, those will be your 3, and these will be my 3.
Okay.
I'm going to try this. I am going to lift the curse from you.
Whew, thank you.
Yeah, what a relief. I wouldn't want to accidentally forget that and leave that on. So now, Drew, these are your 3. And we'll go A. That would be backwards for you. So A, B, and C. A, B, and C. And I have A, B, and C here. I'm going to place one down. You want to pick A, B, or C?
C.
A, B, C.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. I'm going to place my next one. That one. Would you like A or B?
You'd think I'd pick B, but I'm going to go A.
You're going to go A. That's
Mm-hmm.
right. All right. Which one would you like?
You know what? Out of real deliberation here, I'm going to have to say B.
Here you go for B. Now, we have pair, pair, and pairs. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
I think your curse has been lifted.
Thank you, but it's the one time I didn't have money on the table.
So that is a combination of ideas. And this comes from a parade which was called A Devil of a Bar and Grill. But over the years, there were multiple versions of this parade. And it was kind of, it's honestly one of the strangest things you might find in the Linking Ring. It's written by Phil Willmarth, who was the editor of the Linking Ring. And it's written, the whole parade is written in storytelling form. It's not effect presentation method. It's just he's spending the night in this pub and strangers walk in and they do strange things, and it tells it in a story form. So it's one of the most interesting parades you might possibly read. And along the way there's some pretty cool magic. So that one stood out to me. Now, because of the way it is written, it's not so clear as to the credit on that, but I believe that is a Bob Kneel trick with a kind of a presentation by Phil Willmarth. That's my guess, but it's not strictly laid out because of the way the story is presented. And give me 1 second here. Let me just find. I wanted to show you. Aha. Get back on track here. So this is where you can find this effect that I did with the cursed part of it in the Linking Ring, October 2004, page 87. Is where that trick appears. Actually, that's where the whole parade appears. I'm going to be doing a couple things from there. But then the second part, because I didn't want to end the trick with you being unlucky. So the second part is something I was working on. I think actually I showed it in one of your Wednesday night meetings originally with ESP cards, like a year ago. And turns out it's way easier with 3 cards than it is with 5. So, so it's a nice little add-on for that trick. So thank you very much, Drew, for helping out with this. I'll let you go. I'll see you soon.
Oh, thank you.
And one more little note on this here. I spared no expense for getting props tonight. Actually, most of the props are made of paper, but I spared no expense on this prop. We're gonna try this. This is another one from, I believe, Phil Willmarth. In that same parade, you have a coaster and a bottle of beer. That would be. Oh yeah, actually, sorry. The bottle goes in your hand. I don't know how he balances all this. You know what would be easier? Let me put it under the handkerchief first. Aha. There. That's precarious. I've never tried this before. So this creates the illusion of a coaster and a bottle. And the interesting thing is, you might see something strange happening. I should have practiced this once at least. I don't know if that worked. I think I need a softer handkerchief for that to work. It didn't really show the form. This is why you test these things out before the show. Yeah, that would work better with a silk because then it would hang better. And yeah. Let me try that one more time. I have a silk, don't I? or this handkerchief would be softer. Okay, try this one more time. All right, the coaster, the bottle. No, 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 come on. All right, well, at least we're having fun tonight. Here we go. I don't know how to slide the handkerchief past it. Definitely not as smooth as it read in the magazine. Anyway, something to play with. I'll have to work on that one. Now, the interesting thing is, I was playing with these things, and I had a bottle and a handkerchief and all that stuff. And so, one of the cool things about being able to search the archives linking ring is that you can just put in the name of a prop that you have. And so I just did a search for the word bottle and found this interesting little effect. It was originally done with a Coke bottle, but we'll see what we can do here using the supplies at hand. There we go. Aha. Let me just give you the closer view here. 1, 2, wait. A hand should go on top. 1, 2, 3. And it passes right through the neck of the bottle. And that was ribbon through Coke bottle was the original effect. And I got to playing with that, and I just came up with a little variation on it. Pros and cons, every magic technique. Some things are good, some things are worse. But we'll try this out with a piece of rope. Different method, same effect. 1, 2, 3. But for me, it worked a lot smoother than the method in the book. So, but again, that's what this is all about: is going in the linking ring to find that inspiration and seeing what happens. So my goal here tonight is to show you a few ideas that may or may not inspire. 1, 2, 3. Through the bottle. So how about that? I don't know. Does this become a business expense now? I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. So the coaster through the bottle, or what I was attempting to do, coaster through the bottle, is another one from The Devil of a Bar and Pub from Phil Willmarth. And the ribbon through Coke was in September 1980 issue by Jack Bridwell. Ribbon through Coke, which was, as you saw, the second version. My attempt to make it work a bit smoother for me. All right, let's see. What else have we got tonight? What else? Aha. Okay. Time to bring our friends back here, because who loves card tricks?
Larry.
Last year on this show, I featured every single episode a video from Mike Powers, who writes the Card Corner column for the Linking Ring. Every month, a new card trick. However, the Card Corner column has existed for many, many years before Mike Powers was involved in writing it. And so I wanted to show you one from the Card Corner when John Bannon was writing the column. And this is an idea from Bill Goldman. So Larry, just to be fair, I'll get you to be the card picker.
Thank you. Not going to curse me?
No, this one's not quite as weird. Not quite as weird. Okay. How should we do this? Let me think. What do I need to do? Okay. I need to get you to pick a card so you can say stop.
Stop.
Stop. Are you happy with that one?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, let me switch to what would be the best view for this. Maybe we'll try that one. Okay. So Larry, your card's not on the bottom, obviously.
It is not on the
middle. And just to be clear, it's not anywhere on the top, right?
Correct.
Okay. We'll use that one. Somewhere in the middle is one card with not your literal name on it, but your proverbial name on it.
Okay.
I'm going to try this with all the talent contained in one finger.
Ooh. I'm impressed.
You know what? I should have used the other finger. Oh, man. You know, this is one of those things that works all the time in rehearsal. This one I actually did practice. Aha!
There you go.
There we go. I want to show you that is actually right in the middle of the pack.
Indeed.
Now, remember your card, Larry.
I do.
If this worked, that would be a pretty impressive stunt. What was your card?
10 of diamonds.
The 10 of diamonds. Look at that.
Yes.
Whoops. There we go. The 10 of diamonds. Whoops.
It is impressive.
Keep that in frame. There we go. So that is a take on the very classic idea of card stabbing. Now, when you think about card stabbing, there's actually 3 tricks that people associate with card stabbing. And one is where you take a deck and wrap it in a newspaper or napkin, stab into the side, and the knife ends up, at their card.
Right.
That's, in my opinion, that would be the classic card stabbing. And in this one, I believe it goes back to Benzeus in his Best of Benzeus book. Had this card stabbing trick, which I had that book as a kid, and I was always fascinated with that. So, shockingly, despite what appearances may show, I've actually practiced that for like 20 years. To be able to just flick a card. You can either flick it in, or the advanced way, which is far more risky, is to throw it in.
Oh.
Oh, just barely got in there. And the technique I've learned on that, if you want to play with this risky move, you don't throw it at the deck. You actually bounce it off the table right in front of the deck. And that helps with the reliability, which is obviously 100%. Anyway, the much safer method is to do a pretty close little flick like that.
Okay.
And then yeah, you can stab the card. As I said, I'm not here to teach because I know this is a public broadcast, but what do you know? It is available to every single Linking Ring member because it's in the Linking Ring. And which month? I have too many tricks this week, so it's hard to even keep track. April 1991. Is that it? Yes. Bill Goldman, the no move card stab in the Linking Ring, April 1991, page 97. I thought that was a really nice, efficient way, assuming you get the flick on the first time. That's honestly the harder part of the entire trick. Now, the reason I found that one was an accident. I call those happy accidents, when you find something random. And the reason I found that one is because I was curious and researching the third type of card stabbing. And for that one, I need to stand up. So we'll see if my stand-up camera is going to work. Aha! Yes. This is perhaps, well, maybe even the more classic of the card stabbing. This one involves a real knife, a real serious knife. You need a table, and I'm quickly running out of room here in my tiny little studio. You can see I'm in the basement. I have like 4 inches of clearance in this room, so so we'll see if I can pull this off. I've got a knife. I need a deck of cards. I've trapped myself behind my table at this point. I need a deck of cards, and I might need that. Okay. Oh, and I need my computer mouse. This is the high-tech version. And why do I need my computer mouse? Because I need someone to pick a card. I also need a newspaper. So here we go. I guess, Drew, you've already had your turn. So that means...
My turn.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. It's now Donna's turn. So Donna, just say stop.
Stop.
Stop right there. We'll have a look at the card that you stopped at. I don't want to see it. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We'll take that card. We will place that on the table. I better get my mouse out of the way. Now we're going to take this deck of cards. We're going to spread it all around. If you were here, I would have you help in mixing the cards all over the table. I am going to be blindfolded. You know what? I can't do that with my glasses. And actually, you know what's a quicker way to blindfold? It's just this. Here we go.
Oh, now this is getting scary.
All right. Here we go. Oh, now, hey, I should. No, what? Won't worry about it. Okay. Lastly, we have a piece of newspaper. So not only am I blindfolded, but the cards themselves are blindfolded.
Mm-hmm.
Aha. Okay. Here we go. All I need to do is find your card. Seems easy enough. What could go wrong?
Oh, don't say that.
Looks fine to me.
Did I mention I'm trying all these things for literally the first time in front of you people? Here we go. Whoops. Okay. Let's find out. Donna, what was your card?
10 of spades.
Well, fortunately, I got like half the deck, so.
The odds look good.
The odds look good. Amazing. What a way to ruin a deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what I would call the kind of classic of classic versions of that trick. And that one actually goes back to 1927 in the Linking Ring. It was published in the Linking Ring, the Blindfold Stab. And you can understand why it would be called the Blindfold Stab. Although, turns out, that trick was not actually published in the Linking Ring by the originator of the trick. It had been in existence about 4 or 5 years before it was published there. So I don't know if it was an independent creation or who knows. That's lost to history. It was published by Frederic La Delle in the Linking Ring. So I don't know if he came up with that. But as I said, I was researching into the archives of the Linking Ring. What else do they have on the topic of card stabbing? Well, I'm glad that you asked. I found one that caught my interest. I need a new piece of paper. I saw one that caught my interest because it was created for a stand-up performer to be a little more practical, and there's one key difference to it. Drew, I'll get you just to say stop.
Okay. Stop.
Stop right there. That'll be your card.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, the key difference is that it doesn't use a table, because as you well even here, where'd my glasses go? I can't see. I can't see if you're still there. Hello.
Here.
The key difference is that you're not locked behind a table, and any stand-up performer knows that that's not always practical. People can't see the table. So this particular routine spoke to me because of the fact that the idea was it's now all on a piece of cardboard, and you have two people on stage, one on each end, holding this cardboard. So there's actually no table involved in this at all. Now, obviously, that's a little tippy. So in order to help with this process, you would fold the newspaper up around the cards and then have the people, let's get that there. Then you'd have the people shake the deck around and mix up the cards and move them all around. And well, some might spill out. That's okay. The point is, you have this big mess of cards. Two people standing on stage is a lot more visual. Oh, I got cards spilling out all over the place. He would use a bigger board and a larger newspaper. I'm in a confined space. But at the end of the day, you have two people holding the cardboard, and you're able to... You know what? I made this a double ply, and I think that was a mistake. My thinking was that it would need the help, but clearly it doesn't. Okay. Now, as before, you would be able to rip the paper away. And again, because I'm working on such a small space, I got like 5 cards, but... And hopefully... Is that your card?
That is my card.
Aha! Like now half of my deck has knife holes in it.
Are we
So
putting a
that
disclaimer
idea
at the
really
end?
was curious to me because for a stage performer, being restrained to a table is kind of a deal breaker for what is otherwise a pretty cool routine, being able to stab cards. Now, I want to do this one last time with one more idea that I found. I've lost most of my deck, but, well, oh well. Oh well, oh well. Okay. And I need one last piece of newspaper. I'll get rid of that. Okay, Donna, it's your turn again. Try and pick one that doesn't already have a hole in it. Just say stop.
Stop.
Stop right there. And we'll have a look. Does it have a hole in it, first of all?
I don't see a hole,
Okay.
so we're
Remember that card?
Got it.
Got it. Okay. Here we go. Cards. Once again, in this case, the effect is the same every time. It's just little differences. We're going to spread the cards out on the table. We'll take a newspaper, spread out the newspaper. I would be blindfolded, but we won't worry about that because you trust me.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, this is the third time, so third time lucky. Let's end with a big finish. Here we go. Blindfolded. All right. You know how this ends. What was the card you picked?
The 3 of Hearts.
The 3 of Hearts. This time I wanted to go for the big finish, so I make sure that I didn't miss the 3 of Hearts.
Cute.
There we go. So this obviously necessarily wouldn't stand on its own, but if you do 2 or 3 cards and you do 2 normal, and then that's the ending. I thought that was a pretty neat way to end the routine on a still surprising and more dramatic conclusion. And that last one, in particular, comes from Roy Cottee, who, interestingly enough, is the namesake of the ring in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, of which I was a member until recently. I spent 3 years in Ottawa, and I was a member of Ring 151 there. And it's named for Roy Cottee, who contributed many things over the years. And every time I see his name come up in the linking ring, it's something cool. It's something worth trying out, because he was one of those guys that was a practical-minded performer, performing for real people. And so his ideas, I find, in my experience, are worth checking out in the linking ring. Let me see if I can find the reference for that one. Roy Cottee and the Canadian Parade, August 1957, page 66. Now, you'll notice in the illustrations there, Roy Cottee used the 10 of hearts. I used 3 of hearts. Any guess as to why I used the 3 of hearts?
Faster to draw.
That's right. I'm lazy. It's faster to draw. Of course, if I wanted to sound smarter, I'd say, oh, it's more visible from a distance. But the truth is, I just didn't want to draw 7 more hearts. So, and yeah, sorry. While I'm showing references, do I have? Yes. This one was the second one with the cardboard standing up. And interesting thing about this, so it is a almost impromptu method. Of those 3, 2 require preparation. This one doesn't. And he said, in his words, its sole virtue is that the performer is not tied down to the table when presenting the effect, and consequently it becomes an item big enough for a reasonably large audience. The preparations, fortunately, very little, which leads me to think this effect may be used a bit. It's one of my pet beliefs, this is Fred Lowe talking, it's one of my pet beliefs that a strong reason for most of the classics being classics is their almost non-existent preparation. Which again, speaks to laziness as a driving force amongst magicians. But it's true, for me at least, the tricks that stay in my act are the ones that I can just grab and go. Right?
Sure.
So that one, honestly, the Fred Lowe idea with the cardboard, with a bit more practice and trial and error, obviously, I could see that becoming part of my show. I don't know. Although I've already got a couple tricks where I end up with a deck of cards all over the floor, so I don't really need another one of those, but we will see. Okay, moving along. I've got a couple more things I'm going to try and squeeze in here. First, I'm going to do something I've never, ever done on an Inside the Ring show. You preparing yourself for this? This is a monumental moment.
I'm intrigued.
I am going to go to the other shelf.
Not the other shelf.
I'm going to the other shelf.
No, Ryan.
Yes, I'm doing it.
God.
This next item comes from an MUM magazine. I know, it's unheard of. But I thought it was appropriate, because there's so much magic in the old magazines, and I occasionally stumble upon a really cool idea, not in the linking ring, that I don't get to share. So I'm going to allow myself one per show. And in particular, I thought I'd go to the MUM because they're such huge drivers of Magic Week, which is this week, right? Celebrating, well, not really celebrating the death of Harry Houdini. That's not the right way to say it. Remembering Harry Houdini as a strong force in our art and a strong force for publicity, because everyone's heard of Harry Houdini more so than they've heard of David Copperfield or Chris Angel, or dare I say, Drew and Donna. I'm
Who are
sorry,
they? You dared and you said.
So this trick comes from the MUM magazine, but I wasn't able to get all my supplies. So what you're about to see is definitely a rough draft mock-up. So let me show you. We've got a little jar, and oh, that lid is very tight. I don't know how that got sealed so much. There's no vacuum inside. Okay, got a little jar with a little lid. Now, I've got a lock, and I would normally have this be a real lock that you could check out and examine and try and open, and it wouldn't open. But I couldn't find the right size jar with the right size lock in order to pull this off. So I found these tiny little jars that didn't fit any lock. So I've got this lock. So this lock is going to go inside of this tiny little jar. Look, it doesn't even fit the paper. And I also have the key for that lock, which is going to go inside the jar. The lid goes on the jar, and of course this is a magic mystery, so the whole thing goes under the handkerchief, and we summon the spirit of Harry Houdini. Naturally, what else do you do this week? We summon the spirit, and if this was a metal lock with a metal key, you'd be able to hear them tinkling around, but we cannot do that in this situation. But regardless, I think it worked. I think it worked to the point that we have a jar, and inside the jar we have a lock. Yet the lock is unlocked, and the key is in the lock.
Cute.
So as I said, normally that would be a real lock with a real key, and I think in the magazine he originally used like pill containers, which I guess are big enough to fit the small locks that he had. I couldn't find any of those supplies, so I made do with what I could. But if you want to work on that trick, I thought it was a neat idea, a neat close-up application of that trick. It's very practical, easy to do, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing it. From MUM Magazine, May 1974, page 488, The Haunted Padlock by James Delmar. And let me tell you, if you're looking for weird, spooky, bizarre magic, look up James Delmar, because over the years, oh my goodness, he shared a lot of magic in the MUM magazine. And it's all kind of a little bit weird or bizarre angle to it. So check that out. Just as IBM members have access to every single Linking Ring magazine in the digital archives, SAM members have access to every single MUM magazine in the digital archives. So you can spend weeks of your life not that anyone would do such a thing, but researching and finding all these little goodies. Okay. Well, we're just about here come to time. And I don't think I even checked off all my boxes. I had a couple more things I wanted to share, but I'll just close with one more item. And this goes back once again to the old devil of a bar and grill. And the story of a gentleman who came into the bar one night, visibly shaken. And he had with him the machine. I happen to have it here. Don't ask me how I got a hold of this. But
How'd you
let's
get
just
hold of
say, don't ask me.
Oh, sorry.
Let's just say the previous owner was done with it. But this device has passed through the hands of kings, queens, the richest people, the poorest people. It seems to make its way through history. It is simply known as the machine, which answers questions. Any question you ask, it answers. You can understand why it would be so highly sought after. And you could also understand why it might be a little concerning. You see, I have a question I've been meaning to ask. I haven't yet. I've actually been carrying it around in my pocket for a couple weeks. And I imagine if you were in possession of this machine, well, you might have a similar question. And similarly, might be a bit nervous to ask. But here tonight, we'll give this a try. The question I was too scared to ask. But the machine always seems to know. Here we go.
I'm so disappointed. I always liked Ryan.
He could have at
Such
least
a nice guy.
he could have at
Yeah.
least given one of us hosting capabilities.
I know that would have made it easier. Well, folks, thanks for coming.
Someone should check on him.
He's on the other side of the continent.
Oh,
Wait,
wait,
wait.
wait. Makes total sense.
If you believe in reincarnation, he could say, "We'll be right back."
He's been recarbonated.
Oh, that was bad.
Well, so that is that. I've survived the season premiere of season 2. Except I hurt my shoulder on the way down.
I thought
So-
Drew was the one who was cursed.
Yeah. I appreciate you tuning in. And unfortunately, I know we had some technical challenges here tonight with Facebook. So unfortunately, most people will have to watch this on the replay. But nonetheless, I hope you've found something here tonight that was interesting, inspiring, or just a little bit stupid. I'm okay with that too. You know, my standards are low. That's the fact of the matter. But that last idea, once again, comes from, where is it here? That same parade, The Devil of a Bar and Pub in October 2004, page 87. And again, it spoke to me because it was just a very, very unusual use of a classic prop that we all have. So that is the sort of inspiration I found in the linking ring this month. And I would encourage you to, I don't know if the folks here, I don't know if you folks ever have a prop maybe in your drawer that you don't use. It's probably rare, but there's yeah.
I have a house of props that I don't use.
Don't we all?
So what I found and what I was able to do this month is basically just take the prop that you have and use that as your search term in the archives of the Lincoln Ring, and you'll be surprised and delighted. You know, if you have a Himber wallet, type in Himber wallet, and you'll get a lot of ads for Himber wallets, so you have to skip past those. But if you really want to get to the nitty gritty, you can do things like type the phrase "use a Himber wallet," and that will, that'll go straight to the articles that say, for this you need to use a Himber wallet or something like that. Like you can trick it to get a little bit closer to the target by thinking, what is the phrase you would use if you were explaining a trick with this prop? That can help if you find yourself overwhelmed. But anyway. Thanks so much, Thru, Donna, and Larry, for joining me in the studio. It's been nice having friendly faces to
Thank you for inviting us.
Pleasure.
This is fun.
And if you want to be, if you're watching this and you say, hey, I'd love to be in the live studio, well, we can make that happen in future episodes. It won't always be Thru and Donna and Larry.
Wait, whoa.
I'm
open.
I'm looking around. I'm open to.
Hey, I'm owed the first 20 minutes.
And we didn't even get anything at the souvenir stand.
All right. Well, yeah. Exit through the gift shop. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
See ya.
Good night.